Thinking beyond the box. What does that even mean? How does one do that? It's easy to get stuck in the day-to-day routine, kind of like autopilot, repeating itself. It's easy to get caught up in the cycle of work, rinse, repeat. Work, rinse, repeat. Break the pattern. It's beyond the job. We're all people. It's more than just a job, a paycheck, a contract. It's taking that extra mile, setting yourself apart. Push yourself. Go beyond your comfort zone. The payoff is on the other side of fear. What's your first step beyond the box? How will you embrace change? One step at a time leads to another. Before you know it, you look back and you're 6, 20, 40 feet from where you started. Does that mean taking a leap of faith? Making that big decision? What are you waiting for? What's the worst that could happen? Here's your chance. A day filled with opportunity, knowledge, growth, excellence. Here's your chance. Learn, explore, innovate, succeed. This is your business. Go the distance. Think beyond the box. Are you ready?
Good morning. No, good morning.
Good morning.
There we go, we're awake now. Hey, welcome to MarTech18, NP Dodge's one-of-a-kind educational summit designed to help each one of you grow your business. Our mission is to provide the best technology, training, and marketing in the industry. That will happen again today. We had a big year with many changes already in 2018. We've welcomed over 50 new sales associates, 2 new broker managers, a new relocation manager, and a new tech trainer. We started the year with our first Ninja installation.
Yay!
So we got some ninjas here. And we're looking forward to our second one later this year. We announced our new profit-sharing program. In April, we distributed over $100,000 to many of you in this room. We have worked very hard to create an incredible place for you to work and to grow your business, close to where you live and where you sell real estate. We are focused on building your business in an environment that embraces both learning, innovation, and success. And when we do that, you're bound to succeed. That's why we're all here at MarTech today. We have a phenomenal program planned for you. We're going to hear from Geoff Daniel, Enterprise Account Manager for AdWorks, one of the fastest growing technology companies in real estate today. We're also going to hear from Aaron Davis, who will share his insights on the attitude of a champion sales associate. We also welcome back is John Sable and Ido Zucker, the founders of Booge, and they're here for the unveiling of the new NP Dodge app version 5. You don't want to miss that. And of course, my favorite speaker today, J.C. Riedman, president of Viking Cat Social, and a member of the Geeky Girls. That's just to name a few of these speakers today. So today is time to sharpen our skills before we get back to the business of providing the best possible service to our clients. Before I introduce our keynote speaker, I'd like to take a moment and welcome Nate Dodge. Nate? And I'd also like to introduce Dina Tilner. Dina, you here? There she is. Stand up. Newest member of our NP Dodge leadership team. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Title Core National, Cobalt Credit Union, 210 home buyer's warranty, NAI NP Dodge, NP Dodge Insurance, and Focus Printing. Let's give them a big hand. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize our marketing team for all the work they put together to make today happen. Let's give the big hand to the marketing department. Now I'd like to welcome Geoff Daniel, who is here to introduce our newest listing tool, AdWorks. Geoff serves as the main point of contact for AdWorks Enterprise strategic partnerships with some of the country's top brokerages, including NP Dodge. He is passionate about building relationships and collaborating with his clients to deliver the highest level of value to each partnership. Knowing that no single approach is right for everyone, Geoff works to deliver customized solutions that are tailored to his partners' needs. Geoff has worked in sales for over a decade, and before joining AdWorks, served as a co-founder of a cybersecurity consulting firm. He earned his degree in economics and communications from the University of North Carolina. They play a little basketball there, don't they? Okay. In Chapel Hill, and still lives there with his wife. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Geoff.
All right, can everybody hear me okay? All right. Thank you so much for having me here today, and AdWorks can't be more excited about being here to launch the automated listing program with NP Dodge. I want to personally also thank Jody and Mary Kate and Mary on the marketing team. I don't know if you know this, we've become besties over the past 6 or 7 weeks, talking back and forth to get this launched for you guys, and today's a big day to get that kicked off. So today our topic is how to win more listings with less work. Does that sound like something everybody wants to be a part of as far as make your job a little easier? The idea here is when we started AdWorks, we wanted to do brilliantly simple digital marketing, right? And we went into the real estate space because of how much you guys have to do as a realtor and how arcane and complicated digital marketing can be. So what we've done is we've created a software platform that we partnered with NP Dodge to provide to you automated listings for all your new listings and eligible listings within your marketplace. So we're going to walk through that, exactly what that looks like on a couple different levels. We're going to talk about some marketing 101. They're also going to have some Q&A at the end. So if you got questions, please hold them till the end, but I want to get to all of them so that we can make sure that we kick this off right today. So let's look at some fast facts. These are kind of staggering when we look at just how people are searching for real estate online. So I'm not sure if you know, but 95% of all home research is done online. Actually starts online before they ever speak to a realtor. The typical time that people are operating within those listing sites, if you're looking at Zillow's and Realtor.com, Trulia, they're looking on Google, that sort of thing. It's an average of 2 weeks of search time before they ever speak out or reach out to a single person. So when we look at that, how do we find a way to monopolize that time, right? Then we go to the other side of this. 70% of people actually work with the first realtor they speak to. So when we think about, okay, I've got 2 weeks where somebody's online before they ever talk to anybody, and then when they do, 70% of the time, there's no opportunity for me to even get in there because they're working with the person they speak to first. So we look at, okay, how do we make sure we're that top agent, right? We need to stay top of mind on a consistent basis. I did a little research on NP Dodge before coming here today and kind of looking at the way you guys have structured your business over time. And it's really staggering how strong the brand is here. It's amazing, right? The oldest brokerage in the area and the oldest brokerage in the U.S., I believe. And that's a brand that's ingrained in the community here, right? So when they see that, it's synonymous with loyalty and customer success and that sort of thing. So we know we have top of mind with NP Dodge. Now we're able to do that for you as an agent, as a part of this program. So we know it's not just about generating leads, right? Leads are important. They're a piece of the puzzle. As Mike said, we know that there's not one single strategy that's going to work for everybody. But when we have that brand awareness, we think about how that works with everything else we're doing, right? All the things you guys are doing as realtors on a daily basis. We're making those phone calls, right? We're doing emails. We're out there, literally knocking on doors to meet people. It all is going to work together, and this is how we do it from a digital perspective, and that's part of building that brand awareness that you guys work so hard to create on a daily basis. So what is brand awareness, right? We all know what it means, consistency, form of a, hey, I've seen this, I know exactly what they do, right? Well, the specific definition is the extent to which consumers are familiar with the distinctive quality or image of a particular brand or of good or services. So that's basically saying I know who you are and what you do when I see that brand. To kind of highlight how important brand awareness is to some of the largest companies in the world, Coca-Cola has a plan for every single person on the planet to see their brand 3 times a day. I think they're already doing pretty well. And yet they're still paying for 21 plus billion impressions a day to make sure they stay in front of their market and their target market. So we know that's important. When we look at brand awareness from a marketing standpoint, it's actually the #1 goal of 89% of polled marketers for their company. So when they look at what are you going to do this year, where your dollar is going to be spent, how are you going to grow your company, 89% are saying brand awareness is my first and foremost priority, right? That's what things like MarTech are designed for, right? How do we continue to increase our brand from a marketing standpoint? And that's where this partnership comes from and getting out there on a digital level. So let's talk marketing. We know all the staples, right? There's print marketing that's been effective for a really long time. And as referring back to Mike, there's aspects of that are not going to go away. People still do people still find houses based on just driving down the street and seeing street signs, right? They might look at the classifieds. They might find different ways to research homes, whether it's finding flyers you put up. Again, going back to some of the other tactics, we're door knocking, literally walking around and introducing ourselves to people in the area and finding ways to get our name out there. But now we know that today, all eyes are going to be focused on screens. 70% of our day is spent in front of one screen or another. If you guys can do some quick math, the other 30% is probably sleeping. So if we think about how do we get in front of those people, like we went back to the earlier slide, 92% of all home research is done online, and over 90% of that happens over a 2-week span before they even ever speak to someone. So we've got to find ways to get in front of people everywhere they go, whether it's desktops, laptops, and of course, phones and tablets. So it's not just on real estate portals either, right? People are searching in different ways. We have the access to those portals. Those listing services are fantastic. But also going to local websites, right? They're searching out real estate companies like NPD and saying, okay, well, I know this brand. I'm sure they have a beat on the market. I'm going to find a realtor that knows the most about the area by going through that. So looking at mobile browsing. So just last year, mobile browsing actually passed desktop browsing. So we're looking at now people are using phones and tablets more than they ever have before to find their homes and look at properties online. 50% of home buyers use the mobile website or application in their last home search. I think that one's even probably a little bit low from what I've seen out there here recently. So when we look at going back to how we're going to stay in front of people, if we do it just on computers, if we do it just on desktops, we're going to miss 50% or more of that segment who's actually looking at properties online via their phones and tablets. So let's look at the current market and how things are looking. We know that sellers have high expectations. Real quick, raise of hands, who's been asked about a digital marketing strategy for a listing that you've had recently? Anybody, seller, say, are you going to put this online, anything like that? I see a lot of nods, a little less hands, but so we know they have high expectations. We know they want their home sold quickly, efficiently, in a painless process, and we know they have an idea of what that looks like. So going back to that research, what we see, I'm sure a lot of people in here have run into home sellers that say, don't worry, I already know what my home's worth. It's going to sell for this price, right? I've done all the research. I've seen the estimate score. And you're like, okay, great, so I can just walk away and we're good here, right? We know that there's a lot of information out there. I heard a quote not too long ago that information is cheaper than it's ever been, and therefore wisdom is twice as expensive, right? So we have to still be that expert. You guys are the expert in the area. You guys are, the realtors that they need to successfully sell their home. We have to make sure they see that when they're doing that research. Inventory's tight. We have to stand out and differentiate in the marketplace. Now, this is always what marketing's been about. It's what you guys do on a personal level, but now we have to do that outwardly, right? To build that brand of differentiation to make sure that people know exactly what they're getting when they work with the NP Dodge agent. So, looking at that, we invented a brilliantly simple advertising solution for you, right? So partnering with Jody and the marketing team and Mike and everybody at the NP Dodge family, we have integrated all your data into AdWorks to provide you with automated listings moving forward starting today. So I know it's in the program, but we are actually launching this today, and we'll talk about exactly what that looks like for you. But you guys are the first independent brokerage in this area to be doing this. So going back to that differentiation piece, when you walk in there, and we're going to give you a script about what this looks like, but when you walk in there, you're going to be able to say, I have a tool in my toolbox that no other brokerage in this area, no independent brokerage has, right? So you already have differentiation piece based on just doing this program and this partnership that we're kicking off today. So I can't tell you how excited I am about that, and we'll look at exactly what that means, but basically, this new technology, as Mike said, looking at beyond the box. How do we continue to build on the tools that you guys already have? Well, automated process is one. So introducing that AdWorks automation. What we've done is, thanks to Ido and John at Bouge, they've actually integrated all your listing data on a daily basis into our system, and we're able to customly build out automatic ads and target and display those across the web, Facebook, and Instagram. And on top of that, we're going to give you guys reports and give your sellers reports of how those ads are doing. So again, looking at going back to how do we find time for all this, it's done for you. It's automatic, and you don't have to do a thing. And we're going to talk about exactly the piece of that. But that's part of being that NP Dodge agent, right? They're investing in your success by building that support line for you, so that when you guys get a listing and you're thinking, how am I going to market this? How am I going to go on Facebook? How do I find time to learn how to put an ad on the web? How do I do all that? Thanks to NP Dodge, they've taken care of that for you, and we're going to look exactly what it looks like. Essentially, like I said, we're going to build out these customized ads for you. All your brand standards, all your logos, your photos, your house photos, your listing photos, the details are going to auto-populate on these ads, like I said, on web, Facebook, and Instagram, automatically for you, thanks to the feed given from Bouge and our platform built out for that automation. So looking at going back to some of that marketing, we want to stay targeted, right? When we think about marketing 101, if we think, okay, if everybody's my client, then technically no one is, right? You guys know who your clients are. You guys know your areas. So how do we stay in front of people that not only are going to be the ones that are most likely to buy a home, but the ones we want to build our brand with, right? Going back to some of the relationship aspects of it, we have to continue to stay local. That's what looking at some of that print advertising that worked so well for so long. Why? Because I know if I see it here, and I see it at the grocery store, and I see it on the cart, and I see it on the street, okay, I know this realtor knows this area, right? That's the associations that are built through that. Looking at some of that brand awareness from a local level, the likelihood of somebody being able to associate your brand goes up 3 to 4 times the more times they're exposed to it every single time. So when they see it over and over and over again, they're saying, okay, wow, I know who this person is. I know who I'm going to work with. If nothing else, I'm going to find out what they've got going on. So we look at that from a local standpoint, look at that print side of that. But we have to do that digitally, right? So what we've done, and going back to that listing data, we've actually taken all that and we've said, okay, we're going to drop a pin on this address and target everyone looking at real estate within a 15-mile radius of this specific property. So we're not just marketing to everybody online, we're marketing to people who have shown real estate browsing behavior. So if they've been to those sites like Zillow, if they've been to Realtor.com, if they're looking at listing sites, if they're looking at NP Dodge site, we know this person. I don't know if they're John or Jane Smith, right? We're not targeting a single individual. We're targeting the person that's looking at real estate within that radius. Now, 15 miles is actually really important for a couple reasons. First of all, 92% of people actually move within a 12 to 15 mile radius of their current address. So again, staying with that local, we want to stay with people who are likely to buy in that area, right? And again, the whole point here is to stay top of mind and brand yourself within that. So then we have the 15-mile radius. Like I said, we want to make sure that the other people in the area are seeing those ads. So the way I like to think about this is if I'm in my house, if I'm selling my house and Jody's selling her house, and Jody's 5 streets away from me, and I have an NP Dodge agent, and Mike's my agent, and Mike starts his ad campaign. I'm like, oh, well, that's fantastic. And Jody's selling her house with a different agent, and Jody's seeing my house's ads from Mike. And she's like, well, where's my ad campaign? What is my agent doing for me, right? So then she says, okay, I'm going to go talk to Mike. Hey, did you have to pay for that? Did you tell the seller? Did you tell your agent to do that? No. He just showed up at my house and we talked about it. And he said, yeah, I'm going to run an ad campaign. It's going to run for 7 days over the course of the week, showing the local home buyers in the area. And I had to do a thing. So now we've got that top of mind referral status, right? We know that there are agents out there, NP Dodge agents specifically, that have this type of technology. They're doing this for their sellers. So in those local areas, in that 15-mile radius, we're showing it to people who are also going to be selling at some point, who are also going to need a realtor. And that's the power of doing this automatically and the power of that targeted search. So after we know who we're targeting, we're actually going to display them on all forms of Facebook, Instagram, and the web. So I definitely want some hands on this one. So everybody in the room, raise your hand if you've ever done Facebook advertising. All right, almost all of you. All right. If you've ever done Google AdWords, okay, Twitter, Instagram, okay. All right, raise your hand if you ever put an ad on Forbes, CNN, Fox News, ESPN. In case you don't know, there's no hands up except for mine. So you guys have the power that used to be reserved for big companies, right? Not only is it automatically done that you don't have to lift a finger and it's going to all these different platforms, your brand is now associated with the biggest brands in the world. Those premium inventory sites I just listed off are what we have access to. We have access to 96% of the web. In full disclosure, we don't want the other 4%, right? So we're showing them on sites that your top of mind set, the people you want to stay in front of, are visiting. So while we're looking at that browsing behavior, I like to say our ads are agnostic. I don't care if they go to CNN or Fox News. I'm going to be there because we're following the person, not just the place, right? That's a big shift from what we consider web-centric advertising to audience-centric advertising. And again, you guys don't have to lift a finger. It's done automatically for you. And that's the power of being part of NP Dodge Agent. So all this sounds great, but what does it mean if we don't have any visibility, right? If we can't see the reporting. So what we do is we build out daily reports to send to you for the performance of your ad campaign. So one of the things that digital marketing always has had a kind of a riff with is if I go and spend this money, I go and put it out there, how do I know what I'm getting back for it, right? How do I know what that looks like? Well, we send you the daily report so you can see exactly how the ads are doing. Now, again, going back to those previous slides, this is a brand awareness campaign, right? We are looking at thousands of views over the course of the week to make sure that you're staying in front of local home buyers and building that brand with them. So the reports are going to have the views and clicks of those ads, and you get to see how that looks. The coolest thing is you guys get to do your own data research for that. So we'll talk about it in a little bit when we go through the actual email. But you guys get to see how the ad's doing. Maybe you add something special to it. We add, hey, it's on the golf course, or within walking distance of downtown. How does my engagement change from that, right? You get a lot of market research simply from having an ad that's showing thousands and thousands of times across the week. So you get kind of a different pulse on your area that you might not have had earlier. So really quickly, we're going to go through the agent experience. Again, this started today. And the coolest part, because we have partnered with NP Dodge and partnered with Bouge, it's all done for you. So you guys, if you have an ad that was put, or a listing, that was put in the system going back to October 1st, we are automating that listing today if it is still active in the system. So it is everything that is over $60,000 list price for residential listings. If they're coming from the Iowa MLS, we will get them. If they're coming from the Nebraska MLS, we will get them as well. And we are going to automate those starting today. So you guys should receive some emails here later on if you have a listing that was put in the system after October 1st. And we're going to look exactly what that email looks like here. So this is essentially the daily reporting email that you would get when the ads are created for you. So it's going to say something along the lines of, your ad campaign has been created. Mine's a little dated here. It's going to say receipt for your ad campaign because, frankly, people used to open receipts all the time, and now nobody seems to care. Nobody opens receipt emails anymore because we just expect them. But essentially, it's going to say your ad for 123 Main Street will start running about one business day. So once you receive that listing data, we build this campaign out overnight, and you get this email the next morning saying your ad's ready to run and will run about one business day. The reason why it's one business day is really important. All the ads have to go through an audit process, right? So we have to audit them on our end before we send them to the ad network. And when you think about those premium sites that those ads are showing on, the ad network definitely audits them for appropriateness. So we're looking at about a 24-hour turnaround from when the ads are created. Again, this is all done automatically. You don't have to do anything for this to run just the way it is. But what it's going to have in there is a mock-up of your ads. So it's going to have a web ad, a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad. So you see exactly what your property looks like on those campaigns right there. One of the keys here, and something we haven't touched on, except for briefly about the reporting, is you get to add your seller to these campaigns. And two things are going to happen when you do that. If I click on Modify Seller Info, yours would actually say Add Seller Info. It's going to let me put in my seller's information. So what that does is we actually not only send the seller a report showing them you started this campaign for them, but we target them with their own ad, right? So we target them with their listing wherever they go online. So it's incredibly important. We'll touch on this a little bit later, but this is actually going to be able to be available right through your email. So if you click on that Add Seller campaign, it actually takes you directly into your campaign results page. As I mentioned earlier, this is the page where I'm able to see the status of my ad. I can see the start and end dates. I'm actually going to also have real-time updates for the performance. So even though the email is daily, I can see those anytime I want when I log into my campaigns and click on them. So I've got views and clicks on the property and everything like that. But let's say that I actually had a price reduction. So these ads are going to run as they come through in the MLS, as they come through from that feed. But that might change over the course of the week. Well, you can edit this ad at any time. You don't lose any advertising. You don't lose anything from that by bringing this ad down to edit it. So if I wanted to go over here and edit that ad, I can click right there and say, okay, great, I'll actually have a price reduction. So I come over here, change that to price reduce, and instead of $5.99, I'm actually down at $5.59. Now, you saw a couple of the banners up here. We actually have even more available now. This is, like I said, a little bit older. But you could run a just sold campaign if you wanted to. You could change this to anything you'd like outside of when it starts running for you. You can do that right from day one once it's brought into your campaign, or once it's brought into your dashboard, rather. So you always have the ability to edit that ad. We'll look at one specifically for NP Dodge through your portal and kind of see some of the things we can tweak there. But this is simply walking through what to do with that email when you get it. So going back, I click update. Everything looks good. One thing I want to note is it is pending approval. So as earlier it said, running, all the ads again have to go through that audit process I mentioned earlier. So if you bring it down, even for a change of period or a hyphen or something like that, it still has to go through an audit process. So keep that in mind. If you guys wanted to run an open house ad, I would run that a little bit earlier in the week, right? So that we're saying, okay, great, we want to run this. The ad started on Monday. Let's go in and change it on Tuesday to open house on this Saturday. Let's make sure we do that earlier in the week, because if you do it on Friday, it might have to go through that audit process still, right? So keep that in mind while you're looking at those and editing those ads. One thing I also want to note here is on this page, you have the ability to add weeks to this campaign. So something that NP Dodge has done for you that is not done for other agents is they're automating that first week 100% at their cost for you, right? So that's taken off the plate. You guys get this advertising completely just by being an NP Dodge agent, and that's, again, what they're investing in your success as one of their agents. If you want to run this ad again, you always have the ability to do so to drastically reduce price thanks to that partnership. So these are a little data. You'll have to look at the portal, and we can walk through that here in a little bit on the exact pricing. I believe it's like $50.15 for that week. But you can add weeks and run those for the just sold campaigns. You can run those for price reduced campaigns. Say you have an ad that sells in 2 days. You can change the one that's automated to I sell houses in 2 days, right? And send that to everybody that's looking at real estate in that area. So we want to make sure we can use this to the best of our ability. You can always add that at any time after the run of that campaign. So one thing, though, is a lot of you guys are going to have multiple listings in here. So we built you out an entire dashboard that's going to hold all the listings that you've ever run. So as you can see here, I've got campaigns that ran months ago. I can always come in here and access these campaigns. So say I had one that ran, for 2 weeks ago, and then I got a price reduction after 2 or 3 weeks. I can come in here and rerun that ad if I want to, simply by clicking Add Weeks to it. I can change the ad. I can edit it however I want while it's still in my dashboard, and I'm always going to have access to this. This is also going to house all the branding ads that you do. So if you are, building out zip code campaigns or sphere campaigns, you always are going to have access to that in this dashboard right here. So as you can see, I can add my seller's information straight from this page as well, as you talked about earlier. We'll kind of dive into that more. One thing I want to note on this page, though, is your seller's information is only housed here. So we do not distribute that information. It does not even go to the ad network. It's simply to send that reporting email for the listing that's running, right? So for that 1 week or however long you feel like running the ad. But we don't even send it to the ad network to follow them around. We actually are able to scrape the IP address that's associated with that email and where it's logged into, and that's how we target people. So we take data privacy very seriously. Once it's in here, it's hashed and encrypted in the database and actually never leaves. So you can always add sellers, remove sellers, however you like while it's in that dashboard. But I really always want to say something about that because It's only housed here, and we never actually send them anything else. You actually, if you notice here, you're actually copied on everything that ever gets sent to your seller if you'd like to. Now, that's a choice, but you can also do that. So, again, starting today, you guys will be receiving emails if you've had a listing in the system over $60,000 for a residential listing going back to October 1st. NP Dodge has done that for you to start this off so that you guys get those listings coming through. I think we're looking at about 10 a.m. we should be receiving those emails, which is really exciting because I love it on launch when we actually have listings ready to go. So this is moving forward from today, and you'll see those come through immediately. So let's go back here really quickly and look at the agent experience again. So like I said, again, this is all done automatically for you. All we need to do is get that email, go in and add that seller. You can do it anytime from your dashboard. But going back to what happens when you get that question of, what are you going to do for me digitally, right? If I have a seller that says, how are you going to market my home? Or you have a plan for it? You guys have a concrete answer now to exactly what you're going to do. You say, that's a great question. It's really important to have a strategy for listing a home online. I'm actually going to take your property. I'm going to show it 7,000 times over the next week to local home buyers within a 15-mile radius of this address. And then I'm actually going to send you reporting so that you and I can track the performance of that ad. And I'm going to show it all over the web, Facebook, and Instagram. That's your mic drop moment, right? You guys are like, yeah, we're good. Yeah, okay. Right? That seller is blown away. They're like, wow, did you just come up with that? Right? So what we've done with NP Dodge, we actually have created a listing script for you. We have a flyer that you can put in your listing presentation starting today. I believe Jill's going to hand them out as we leave this room in a little while. You guys have the power of that advertising right now at your fingertips simply from being a part of this fantastic brokerage. You guys get to walk in with that confidence and know that you're going to walk out with that listing because you've differentiated yourself in the marketplace from other agents that are coming behind you. And again, it's done automatically for you. So, like we said, crush your next listing presentation. We've got the flyer, we've got the script for you. I would not give the script to the seller, right? You want to hold on to that one for yourself. But on top of this, we've actually created a branded video for you in case you want to show this or send as a lead behind. I love the idea of walking into a listing presentation, goes well, you don't know how you feel about it. Later that night, you send them this video and you say, hey, we talked about that listing, that ad campaign I was going to run for you. Well, here's a better look at it.
Hi, I'm Kelsey, your digital marketing specialist, and I'm here to talk to you about our online marketing strategy and how we plan to advertise and market your home. After listing your home with us, a custom digital advertisement will be created for your listing. This ad will be shown thousands of times to home buyers surrounding your property. Your home will be shown on Facebook and Instagram, as well as major websites like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times on both desktops and in mobile apps. It will specifically target people looking at listings online, using online mortgage calculators, and researching moving companies. If someone sees your listing on our website, they'll also be followed around with your home's ad. Just like Amazon might follow you around with that pair of shoes you were just looking at, we'll follow home buyers with your property, keeping your home in front of potential buyers wherever they go online. Finally, you'll receive a daily report showing how your home's ad is performing. You'll also receive a link to share on your social networks, letting your friends and family help spread the word about your listing. Feel confident that your home is in the best hands online and off, and list your home with us. We will truly work for you to get your home sold.
And that's going to be available to you guys starting today. So, how do we deliver on this, right? Going back to that seller piece. You got a seller who's excited about this campaign. You've already sold him. You got the video. Everything looks amazing. But again, just like most things, it has to be real to me for me to understand it, right? So even if I talk about an ad campaign, if I'm not sure what that means, we got to show the seller. So let's think about this from a real life scenario. I'm selling my house and Mike is my agent. And Mike comes by and he drops this amazing line about this ad campaign. I'm like, all right, you sold me, Mike. Let's do this. All right, so I give him the listing. And then Mike, because he's an NP Dodge agent, he goes to another showing, right? Because he's going to put that listing in the database and AdWorks is going to get it that night. And he knows that campaign is going to be built out automatically for him. So Mike does what he needs to do, which is continue to build relationships, show homes, meet new clients, while this is all going to be done in the back end. So I'm the seller. I have this great conversation. I'm excited about working with Mike. And the next morning I get an email saying that Mike started an ad campaign for me. It's going to run for 7 days and show to local home buyers. I'm like, wow. So he left my house, went home and built the campaign. So I already got a realtor that does exactly what they said they're going to do. Already a step up there. He did it overnight. He went home and built it, like he said. He's going to show it on all these different sites and Instagram and Facebook. I didn't even know he knew how to do that. I don't know anybody that knows how to do that, frankly. So I automatically have a validation that I chose the right realtor, and all happened in one day. Then, even though it sounds cool, I'm still sitting there saying, awesome. It sounds cool, but I don't really know what it looks like. I don't know what it means to show on sites like that. Where's it going to show, right? Later that week, I go check the score of the Nebraska game or the matchup. I go on ESPN. There's my ad. It's right there. My house shows up on a site like ESPN directly to me. We bid those higher to the seller so they see them on the sites they're going to more frequently for the course of that week. I know that I've got an agent that did what he said he's going to do, and he's also showing my ad on sites like this to everyone else as well. So it shows over ESPN. It shows over, the Omaha World Herald, right? It shows everywhere people go. Huskers.com, right? So again, we're targeting your seller where they're going, not just any site hoping they visit it. So we have a whole new targeting system around your seller, making sure they see it, as opposed to, I'm going to run a Facebook campaign and you're probably going to be in that demographic and I really hope you see it. We know they're going to see it. We're going to make sure they see it because we're targeting them on every device they have, everywhere they go, Facebook, Instagram. The other piece of this that's really critical in the fact that this is all built around referrals as well, right? Again, we want to continue to win more listings. So how do we do that using your seller? Well, as much as I love digital marketing, as much as I love everything else, the best marketing is still going to be word of mouth, right? A seller walking up to another person saying, use this agent. Well, your seller has the ability to share this campaign to their entire Facebook network with one click. They can email it to whoever they want as well, all through that report that they get. So in case when we look at this and say, okay, that's not only free advertising, so I'm doubling down on free advertising provided to you by NP Dodge, because my seller is now showing the house as many times as they can on Facebook, but that's your seller advertising you, their agent, right? They're sharing that and saying, this is what my agent does for me, and people are saying, well, mine didn't do anything like that, right? It's been 2 weeks. I haven't heard a peep. We've got an instant referral piece to this. And again, it's all based on adding that seller, making sure they see what you're doing for them. So I can't explain how critical it is for having that seller. I think I see a lot of heads nodding. It's insanely exciting to be able to show your sellers what you're doing for them simply from that one conversation. And again, going about your day from an automatic standpoint. So the next question we get is, okay, how do we use this to actually brand ourselves as agents, right? Well, thanks to the partnership, we built out an entire portal, like I said, with all your brand standards, all your headshots, all your information to build out your own branding campaigns through that portal. So the automated listings are done for you. That's taken off the table thanks to the marketing team and NP Dodge. But you can go in here and start your own campaigns. I've got my next session later on today is all about sphere campaigns, right? And how do we continue to market to our sphere? On average, 65% of an agent's business comes from their sphere. There's a lot of people in this room, I've been laughed out of some where they're like, it's closer to 80 or 90%. So how do we stay in front of them? Well, we have a sphere campaign, and we'll go into that in greater detail. We also have the zip code ads. So these are all designed around constant top-of-mind status. It's a digital billboard, and we want to make sure that you're able to stay in front of the people that matter most. So the zip code is actually targeted the same as the listing. So again, we're taking all that browsing behavior. We're saying, okay, these people are looking at real estate. We're going to target them with your ad wherever they go within that zip code. Now, what's really cool about that is it has multiple different targeting aspects. One of them is cooking their device. So say you have somebody that's coming in out of town. They're moving in from a relocation. They've been looking on their phone. They've been looking at apps, looking at real estate. Great. We're going to target them with your ad when they're here. When they leave, their device is cookied. They're going to see your ad while they're still browsing, right, over the course of the next 30, 60, 90 days, depending on how often they clear their cookies. Can't control that, but it is a way to follow them wherever they're going. So they're geo-targeted. Again, the zip code has a geo-fencing around it, so we want to make sure you're able to stay in the areas that matter to you most. It is brand exposure. So when you think about, like I said, the digital billboard, I love the idea of knowing that, okay, if I do all the math, I've got less people having cars, less people driving, more people online, 70% of my day, I'm able to follow them wherever they go based on just their browsing behavior. So when you think about that prospecting, right, if I say, okay, I'm going to call somebody that I came in from a lead. Great. Calling a lead that came from, anywhere. How different is that call from, oh yeah, I've seen your ads, versus, who is this? Right? You telling, okay, You have a brand awareness campaign, right? Going back to some of those stats earlier, people associate with your brand over time. Actually, the number is 27 times it takes for somebody to see your brand to positively associate with who you are and what you do. That's staggeringly high for how much marketing is out there and how much you'd have to do to stay in front of people. Digital is the way to go, and we need to do that on a consistent basis. The Sphere campaign actually is email targeted. Now, I'll go into that in greater detail, but we don't send them emails. We follow them around just like we did the seller. So we're able to stay in front of that Sphere on a consistent basis, and that's a big topic for the later discussion this afternoon. So going back to this zip code campaign, locally famous. The idea here is that people see where you're going. We have one agent. She's been a client for a while, and she was homesick, and she had AdWorks for about a year and a half, and she was homesick one day, and this is her telling the story, so I'm not no editorial license, but she was like, I was looking pretty haggard. I had the flu. It's been a couple days. And she's sitting on her couch working from home, and another agent comes and knocks on the door. And the other agent, the agent knocking on the door goes, oh my God, you're Jane. You work for, NP Dodge. And she didn't work for NP Dodge at the time, but that's the true story of her saying, okay, wow, my marketing is outworking somebody who's literally boots on the ground knocking on doors. The agent that was out there saw her and recognized her before she recognized the other agent. So that's the power of staying in front of people on a consistent basis, the power of being there wherever they're going, which going back to, simple marketing, we want to be where our clients are. So looking at their behaviorally and geo-target, as I mentioned, you guys have a 15% discount thanks to that partnership with NP Dodge. That's all automatic through the portal. They are divided into web and mobile spots, and that's really important because you guys can choose which ones you want to advertise on if you do something like this, but they are different. The cost is the same on the portal, but you get different views because it is more expensive to advertise on mobile. So I recommend that we have to have some sort of platform on all. That's why the listing campaign is so comprehensive, right? We're getting Facebook, Instagram, and the web. But you guys could choose from that, doing those different prices based on the zip code. So two reasons why the price is based on zip code. First of all, it's more expensive to advertise in different places. That's the bottom line. Digital advertising has variable costs based on median home price and ad deliverability and kind of the data that goes along with that. So you might find some areas that are going to be a little bit more or less than others. But those are available. There are only 10 spots per zip code. And this is really important because when you guys go to look at your areas, we want to have exposure where you work the most, but we also give agents the opportunity to purchase more than one spot. If you work only one area, you want to have the most exposure there. You can spread it out over multiple. It is really important, though, that you have coverage on those different platforms. So now the fun one for me is the Sphere campaign. Like I said, I've got another presentation dedicated to the Sphere campaign because of how important we view it and how we know that important it is in real estate. So quick overview in case you're not able to come to the next session. It is 100 to 5,000 contacts. It takes a minimum of 100. So we're going to target them wherever they're going based on that email address like we talked about. So again, we don't send them any emails. We don't do anything with it other than find out where that individual goes online. So if you think about how creepy that is, basically, if you put in 500 names, those 500 people are going to see your ad on average 5 or more times over the course of the month. Now look at just standard marketing statistics. The average email open rate is under 20%. So all those amazing drip campaigns are a huge piece of this. Email marketing is how AdWorks was built. We know there's an effectiveness there, but it's still going to be less than being able to stay in front of people all the time, right? Staying top of mind everywhere they go. Going back to Mike's comment earlier, we have to do multiple things. So if they don't read my email, they saw it. I know they did because everybody checks their email 100 times a day, but they might not click on it. They might not do anything. They might not take any action. Either way, I'm going to be in front of them when they go check the news, when they go check the score. Right? So I'm bringing that top of mind status back. With this campaign, you also get the ability to upload a quick ad or link, which actually any email that you send puts that person into this campaign without you having to do anything. So think about meeting a client. We have the listing presentation on Monday. We win the listing. We don't win the listing. Either way, I send them a follow-up email, say, hey, great. It was a great meeting you today. Really hope we get to work together in the future. Next day, they see your ad. Oh, wow, that was what they were talking about. They have the ability to do this. Man, I screwed up, right? So it's 2,500 views a month. Stay top of mind with your network, increase that referral business. There's a 15% discount. It does show on all platforms. So with the zip code, it was very designed for web and mobile. This one has Facebook, mobile, and web built right into it. And again, much bigger presentation on that later on today if you're interested in learning more about how that one works. So one thing I really want to touch on because it's so important is all these ads are retargeted. So everybody here, if you know what retargeting and remarketing means as far as the way ads work. Few hands going up. Jody definitely knows. So remarketing is a marketing best practice, retargeting. I'm sure you guys have all been on Amazon, clicked on something, follows you around wherever you go, right? I always end up buying it, but so remarketing has a very high conversion rate, right? Over time, it's designed to continually show somebody something they showed interest in, and therefore they have a higher likelihood of doing action, whatever that is, whether it's calling, whether it's moving forward or filling out a form, something like that. This is done with everything you do now. It's, like I said, it's best practice, but you guys have that power now through AdWorks, through the partnership. All the ads are retargeted. If I click on Mike's ad, I'm going to see his ad more than I'm going to see any other ad. If I go to Mike's listing page, thanks to Ido and John from Booge, your entire website is now turned into Amazon. So I'm scrolling online, I find a house that I like, I go to the NP Dodge listing page, the details page, right? I see the house, I leave that page, which 98% of the time actually happens, and all of a sudden the house follows me around with your face on it, just because I went to the page. It's done automatically. So you guys have the highest form of digital marketing right now for your listings already done for you. This happens with all the other ads as well. So if I have a zip code ad and I go to your bio page, so I find Mike and I say, Mike, I'm going to go to your bio, I read about it, and I leave, I see Mike's zip code ad everywhere I go. I see his listings, if he has available listings, already showing that maybe I didn't see on the site just because I went to his bio page. That's the power of AdWorks, and that's the power of that automation and retargeting. So website retargeting, ad retargeting, all done for you. Some minor retargeting statistics. A person is over 1,000% more likely to Google a product or service after being retargeted for over 3 weeks. So looking at the first place to ever do it really effectively, I thought was Amazon, and again, they're doing pretty well. So now we have that based on that automation. So moving forward, we have a portal built out for you. Again, we are launching this today. You guys will be receiving those emails for your automated listings that were put in the system back to October 1st that were over $60,000 and our residential listings. I can't tell you how excited we are to kick this off for NP Dodge. You guys are, again, the first independent brokerage in the area doing this. You have an instant differentiator as an NP Dodge agent. I hope you guys will join me later for the Sphere talk, but I appreciate you being here today. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out later. Actually, yeah, we'll do a Q&A right now, actually. If we have time. I lost the clock, but 5 minutes. So we have a 5-minute Q&A. Any questions? Please, I'd love to get them out. Yes, ma'am. Oh. You ready?
Right. I'm aware, thank you. I caught it, though. That counts, right? In that 15-mile radius, is it people that live there, or is it anyone who comes into that 15-mile? Like if they work or play there?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So it's actually based on that browsing behavior. So if somebody enters that 15-mile radius and their browsing behavior on that device is associated with looking at real estate, we're going to target them while they're in there and even when they leave because they cookie that device. Great question. Oh. Here you go.
Got it. I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
One, you can buy the extra ads, and not the extra weeks, but the extra ads for an agent. I already do that with AdWorks, and so I want to make sure that I'll still be able to get the discount, right? We'll integrate those together. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Can I buy more than one zip code?
Yes.
Can I buy more than one spot in a zip code?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, good.
So we'll merge your accounts so that everything's under NP Dodge portal and everything like that. And, yep.
No, it's not.
Hey, this is cool.
No. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Her question was, is there a limit to how many zip codes an agent can have? And the answer is no. It's just what's available. 10. So technically, one agent could have 10 spots, or 10 agents could have 1 spot.
The one part about where our clients can see the ads so that get verification that they're running with like Facebook, is that like going against the charge since the clients are possibly seeing that and clicking on those ads?
So there's no, and to clarify, the ad budget is set. So it's going to show on those different platforms. If somebody clicks on it, it doesn't change the price of the ad at any time. It's not a pay-per-click campaign. It's already set up for that budget. Does that answer the question?
Sort of. There's also impressions and clicks. If they're having impressions on those ads, that's that budget that if they're counting against it, we take it away.
Right. So when your seller shows it, is that what you're, yes. Okay. It does not. It's actually, when they share it, it's a post. So it's not an ad anymore. It's to them posting it to their feed. So it doesn't take away from any of the views or anything like that.
Is the marketing targeted to people who can buy homes, like financially capable people, or is it just random?
It's just branded, and that's a really good question because there's a big distinction there. It's actually targeted to people who are doing that real estate browsing behavior, buying or selling. That's where that big referral piece comes in. We want to make sure that people who are also selling are going to see those ads so they know the realtor to work with. The ads are done based on strictly real estate browsing behavior, so there's no demographic targeting of any kind. We've always stayed away from that, and recently, if you looked into Facebook, that's something they've kind of muddied the waters with a little bit. I can tell you something that's really exciting is we are the only Facebook partner right now that is able to access the likely to move segment. So that might change in the future, but right now we are the only one.
Question on the 15-mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
How, is this 15 miles, or can we extend that out to like 50 miles or 100 miles?
That's a great question. So the automatic ad is always going to be 15 miles because when we're automating as many listings as you guys do, we have to have a consensus. If you go in and add weeks or create your own campaign, you can choose whatever city you want in the country. So you can target.
You got a specific property at 50 miles, may not even be close to what.
Right, but we're still going to target people who are going. Right. So there might be some that they're going to, 15 miles might be a little small, but again, you can add it and put it in another city. So if you've got something outside of Omaha, you could choose Omaha and surrounding areas to target that ad to when you run it on your own. Yep. Yes, sir.
If you're the co-listing agent, is it automatically branded?
That's a great question. You can edit the ad to change it to add the co-listing. The MLS, whoever's the primary agent in the MLS is the one that gets sent over, and it's built into that agent's account.
Okay, another quick question.
Yep.
Does this portal have any syncing capabilities with AdWords or anything like that?
With AdWords?
Yeah.
Like as far as?
Like if you wanted to, if you had an AdWords account and you wanted to advertise it through there, some of these banner ads.
Oh, yeah. So they're not going to necessarily sync to AdWords, but you can take all the creative from the ads and use them on your AdWords account, if that makes sense. So yeah, everything that's built in here, you can just pull it onto the desktop and it creates a PNG right away. So that's a good question. I'll go pull up the dash or the portal just really quickly because it is live right now. So one thing we didn't really go through is you guys can log in straight through NP Dodge Office. So it's going to be a tile on the tools section, correct? Partner section of the NP Dodge Office site, or if you go to npdodge.adworks.com and click log in with your company, it takes you straight through there. It's all single sign-on. You guys don't have to create a new password. And that's thanks to Boosh setting that up for us.
Will we be able to, with teams, being able to brand the teams? So if we've got the co-agent and the list agent, would we be able to go in and brand it as a team versus
Yes.
an individual agent?
Absolutely brand it as a team if you want to. So it's going to, if you've got a primary agent, it's going to be pulled through on the listing. You can change that listing right away if you want to. So if we were to go back here real quick and I wanted to promote a listing right here, and I'm just going to do 123 Main Street. I don't know where Ralston, Nebraska is, but we'll see what it pulls up here. This is not one of, don't want to do that. Let's see. Yeah, does somebody have an address right now that's live in the system or active?
What is it? 1124 Summerwood.
Fremont? All right. This is testing Boosh here, see if it pulls through. So that one is, if it's active in the system, I can go ahead and pull it later and make sure it's probably doing the feed. Oh, you were already on your phone? So this is a perfect example, though, of how it's not going to pull through the system. So if I have my headline and I choose my name and I do Geoff and Mike team, I can add that to every single listing or every single brand that I want.
Would we be able to take the agent photo and make it into the team logo?
Yep, absolutely. So if I do add image here, pull it off your desktop and put it right there.
Okay.
If you want it to come through on the back end, we can always talk about that as well. If they're all team listings, it's just something we have to have built in, but we can do it. Yes, ma'am. The name of the NP Dodge Instagram? Where it's showing? I'm sorry.
Where does it get posted on Instagram? Who's Instagram? Who's Facebook?
Oh, so it's a sponsored post on the individual who's looking at real estate, so doing that browsing behavior. So, yeah, so if I'm browsing for real estate and I go on Instagram, it's going to show up in my feed just like it would be a post. Now, it's going to say sponsored on it because it is technically an ad, but it would show up in that individual's feed. Now, you can always share it on your own feed just by clicking the share button, and that doesn't count towards your views or anything like that because that's a shared post at that time. Does that answer the question? Okay. Yes, sir.
This may be what you just talked about a little bit, but so if it goes on Facebook and Instagram automatically, people are liking it, commenting on it, does it tell me personally they're interacting with it, or is that something only if I share it?
Nope, it tells you exactly. So AdWorks actually gives you that reporting of how many people liked it, if they wrote any comments. We do scrape comments for anything inappropriate or anything damaging. You can send us an email and say, get this person off my comments, and we will ban them from commenting on your ads. It has happened more than once.
If you sign up for say 6 weeks or whatever, and property sells in 2 weeks, you're only charged for the 2, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So everything is designed as an ad budget, right? So you're essentially leasing advertising space to be available for websites when they load, or Instagram or Facebook. If you purchase a 6-week campaign, it's going to be upfront, but if that house sells within a week, 2 weeks, you can do 2 things. You can change it to a just sold and keep it running, or you can cancel it and get the remainder of that ad credit back on your account to use for future listings or anything like that. So you always have access to that budget, but to get the pricing that's offered through the ad networks, the length of time really determines what that looks like. Yes, sir. Yes, so if it's in the MLS and it's going to run automatically, if it meets those eligibility requirements, it's a residential listing over 60,000, it's going to be paid for by NP Dodge. If you want to do anything additional, add a week, do a branding campaign, something like that, that would be on your credit card, which is housed right in your account once you sign up. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and listening to that.